All right, let's bring in our legal panel now to discuss this. Former federal prosecutor Doug Burns joining us, and also attorney and political analyst Andrew Lieb. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Obviously, there's multiple reports that the state of Georgia is set to do this. We have not independently confirmed this, but this is according to a two-page docket report from the Fulton County Court's website. Doug, I'll kick it over to you first. We had been hearing about this possible indictment. We knew the grand jury was convening today. What do you read from this initial report here as far as the two-page docket? Does this mean that there's a vote happening?
Everything varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, so I'm not really that familiar in New York practice with seeing some kind of docket entry before an indictment is handed up, but it's very possible. There's been rampant speculation over and over now for, quite some time. And I guess we'll see what happens this afternoon. But if, in fact, my point is there's a two-page docket indicating that there's going to be grand jury action and that the prosecutors expect, for example, to file a charge. Again, I haven't seen the actual document. Then it looks like it's going forward.
A lot of people concerned, Andrew, I'll get your take on this, about using RICO statutes, the racketeering. They give, prosecutors a powerful tool to kind of have this wide swath of who they can bring in, how they can charge them. And a lot of people say Fani Willis shouldn't even be using this statute.
Bianca, I always believe that we shouldn't judge what someone did until we know what they did. So it's very possible that she didn't use RICO because we don't even know who's indicted yet. We're hearing there could be more than 12 people indicted. We don't even know if Donald Trump's one of them. We don't know if they did make Donald Trump one of them and they did go forward, if they used RICO. So until we see the facts in the indictment, it's really hard to parse it through. And I'm going to caution everyone to not undermine or dismiss charges until you reviewed it. It delegitimizes both sides, people that are for the indictment or against it, to prejudge information until it's made known to you. So I think we should tear it apart once we know what it is. But until we do, Bianca, we should wait and see what the news is. As we just heard, we're not sure yet if anyone was indicted and who was indicted, if that's the case, Bianca.
Matthew Whitaker, the former acting attorney general, joined us last hour to talk about, though, kind of what a RICO statute means. Doesn't really pertain here. And I agree, we are waiting for this news. If you're just joining us, folks, there are multiple reports that the U.S. state of Georgia appears to be set to charge Donald Trump. And, the thing about this case, too, Doug, is that there are cameras in the courtroom here. So we're going to get definitely a unique perspective here. It does seem like they put up barricades there. I think there might be some type of security issue here, but is this overkill right now?
Well, I mean, 4 indictments seems like a little bit of an overkill, particularly when you had a special counsel who brought 2 separate federal indictments, when in my view, he could have brought 1. I've been saying that, John Gotti, the legendary mobster, was indicted once at a time, I'll say, because he actually was acquitted a couple times. But again, to bring 4 indictments in this type of context does seem a little bit over the ski tips, but I certainly endorse my colleague's point, which is, it's legal purism. That's what he's putting forth, and I couldn't agree with it more, which is don't prejudge anything. When we see the actual charge, when, as, and if it comes out, we'll go through it count by count, statute by statute, and start analyzing.
Do you think that the indictment needs to be what they call a speaking indictment here, Andrew, just to kind of put out the case here and really, if it's a 4th indictment, and some obviously, especially are, on Donald Trump's, side, saying this looks like election interference, prosecutorial overreach, as Doug just said, there's a federal case regarding the 2020 election. Does this indictment, if it does happen, really need to bring the goods?
It depends how we define the word needs. So from a political perspective, we saw the backlash that happened in New York when there was not much in that indictment. There was that accompanying information that we had, but there was a lot of backlash that we didn't understand what the underlying charges were, and people were criticizing. So from a political perspective, Bianca, absolutely it should be a speaking indictment. From a legal perspective, it should just be enough, and this is what we always say, and I hate that public doesn't like this, but as a lawyer, you want to make just enough not to get it dismissed. Don't give more than you have to, because if you give more than you have to, you're giving away your deck of cards. So from a prosecutor's perspective, I'd like to see just enough not to get it dismissed. But from a political perspective, especially as we were just hearing, it's the 4th indictment, you really have to have legitimacy, and legitimacy in the public, and this is political, needs to have all the goods out there so we can all judge it right from the beginning, Bianca.
Yeah, well, let's see what Fani Willis card she has or which one she intends to play if this indictment does happen. Andrew Lieb, Doug Burns, thank you so much for joining us on this breaking story. Of course, we're watching it live here outside the Fulton County Courthouse, and that two-page docket filing could signal something ahead for the former president. Thank you, gentlemen. Good to see you both.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.